and where Jamaica has achieved something good, and both sides have contributed. I'm not going to say otherwise.
I want to applaud you for doing that, Comrade Lead, and I want to big you up and continue to be honest, truthful, and forthright.
Bless up, my people. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. And in this one, my people, an exclusive interview with Colin Bell and the opposition leader, Mark Jefferson Golden. And my people, Mark Golden spoke on various issues, talks of him getting rich, as well as the current economy and what is currently going on in Jamaica. My people, a lot to be heard, a lot was told, and I want to listen to this in its entirety, because my people, a whole heap of enlightenment in it. For all of the people that were going around talking this and that and spreading lies, Mark Golden came this morning with the truth and nothing but the truth. He even gave commendation where commendation was supposed to be given, with the whole GDP coming from about 116 going down to about 70% now, my people. Unlike the other side, my people, them not get no credit, them not get accolades for nothing when nobody else do. They take everything all on themselves, my people. But big ups to Mark Golden for, basically letting us know that that's a good thing that they did. They continued the whole plan over the 10 years to bring down the GDP debt to ratio. And my people, I want to go over Portland Spice TV and catch the full interview with him and Colin Bell. This is just an excerpt from it. And my people, I want to listen, like, share, and subscribe to the channel.
But your original question was, I think it was like, who am I,
Yes.
So I was just saying, I'm just a regular Jamaican person, born here, grew here.
Oh, you have to be regular. People say you're rich. People say the Prime Minister was making some statements after people getting wealthy. And there are views out there that he's talking about you getting wealthy.
Okay, so I'm not going to say I haven't been successful in my endeavors when I was in private life. I have been successful. I wasn't born rich. My father was a university professor. And at a time when academics at the University of West Indies weren't particularly well paid, So although he himself had some resources, he didn't live that life. He lived the life of a regular university professor type person. I grew up on the campus, with the children of other academics, and then next door was Hermitage, which is a low-income community, Augustown below that. Youth them from around those communities and us used to role play football and ride bicycle and, climb tree and all of the things that children do. And then as a teenager now, kind of broke out little, start got dance and got it. I love music. I'm quite a music.
I hear that they used to call you Radigan.
Yeah, man. That was really my brethren at UWI campus now, because I used to flex on campus, even though I was not attending UWI at the time. But them they giving me that name, So for a good while, that was what I was known as, amongst those friends, So yeah, so that is why I said I'm a regular person, in the sense that how I live my life as a youngster coming up was, I'm not saying I was in any way suffering, no. I was privileged, yes, but I didn't really move with the privileged class of people. I've never moved with the privileged class of people. I've always moved with my peers on campus and youths from, I would say, from the ghetto, who have, that is how I've always lived my life. But then when I finished university now and started to work, because I was interested in finance and economics, although I was a lawyer, I found myself doing the type of work that generated, a good amount of income for myself and my family at the time. And then, of course, we started DB&G, myself and two other friends, Peter Bunting and Chris Daring. And that was a successful business. It was an investment business, a finance services company. And, it did very well. And eventually we sold it to Scotiabank in 2006. And that gave me some financial security at the time.
That's
so
all
yeah.
of that. All of that you mentioned, opposition leader, was in the public.
Yes.
So the
All that
people
in
of
public.
Jamaica know clearly
DBN
how you make your money.
Yeah, man. My DBNG was a publicly listed company.
Yeah.
So all of its audited financials were published every year, you know, and it has the annual report. It had to file an annual report
So hold
every
on.
year.
You and your brethren them set up a company
Yes.
and it work
Yes.
and it make money
Yes.
and Scotiabank see it and like it
Yes.
and buy it
Yes.
and no make a money.
Mm-hmm.
And it was in every newspaper, on
Every
every news. So
yeah. If you go on the internet
like
now,
you see in Bolt,
yeah,
we know how you make your money.
yeah, man, that is exactly right. You know, and even if you go on the internet now and search that transaction, when it's still there, the material is still there, the offering document, the pricing of everything, how much everybody got is all there. So yeah, I mean, it's quite transparent and so on. So, you know, but what that sale and the financial security it enabled me to do was to say, yo, all right, so I've had my working career now in the private sector, doing, you know, financial transactions as a lawyer for clients and also as a businessman in DBNG. And we had started Proven in 2010, which is still going.
Yeah.
Yeah. So because we had the expertise and we had built a reputation of excellence in the field, we saw an opportunity to establish another one. And 3 years after we sold DBNG to Scotia, we started Proven, which is really a regional company now. It invests across the region. It is in a number of territories in the Caribbean and even beyond. And, you know, although I'm not as involved in it as I was in DBNG, I am still, you know, part of the team that guides it along. So, and that has been a very successful business as well.
But that leads me right into this question, Comrade Leader, and I still want to go back to where you were, but I have to ask you that question. Yeah.
Sure.
When you become Prime Minister, how you going to deal with those issues?
Right. Well, when I became Minister of Justice, how I dealt with it at that time was I came off of the board that I was on and the committee that I served on. I just recused myself. I went on a leave of absence for the period of my engagement, you know. So I would
you
have
weren't actively running that.
No,
Right.
I wasn't involved at all at that stage. For those
Right.
4 years, I just take with myself, so to speak. You know, because there are others there who are, you know, who
And
can
when
manage
you
the
become
work.
Prime Minister, you have to take with yourself from Proven.
Yes, I will have to. And I've done it before and I will do it again. Whatever is required in order to satisfy the public that there is no reason why, you know, of concern in that area, I will do. You know, that is a gift.
Like how you and your brethren them would set up DB&G and juggle and three youth to deal with them thing and make some money. You think a Prime Minister should be juggling like that while being Prime Minister?
No, I don't think so. Being Prime Minister is a full-time job and you must be focused on that. The only other issues you might have are family-related issues which you can never get away from. You know?
Because as a family man,
as a family man.
Right.
Yeah, family is family. But when it comes to work as a Prime Minister, that must be your focus. That's not to say you can't have what I call passive investments. If you have saved money over time and you own some stocks or you own some whatever, you know, that's fine. But to be actively involved in building a business and doing multiple transactions and running 28 bank accounts, something not right. Something wrong there.
Actively involved in buying stocks while being Prime Minister? You
That's
think a Prime Minister should have buy stocks at that time?
No, I don't. I don't think the Prime Minister should be active in the markets trading. No. You know, if you have a portfolio, you either just leave it as it is, or if it's a personal portfolio, or you can put it into some kind of blind trust where it's managed by other people and they have full discretion over it and you have no say for the period of that while you're in public life. You can't be because every time you step into the marketplace as Prime Minister, there's a potential conflict of interest because you have agencies that ultimately report to you that will have an impact on the businesses that you're investing in or selling. So it is, and that's why this whole way in which this government operates is problematic because they engage in that as if they're private citizens while they're running the country. And when I say private citizens, doing the things that people have no responsibility to the public are doing. And that is a problem.
All right, so let's go back to Proven. I don't want to be all over the place, but
Yes.
I want to hear about you before I go into the politics, because we have to talk a little of the politics. But the things that people don't know about you, people are speculating, and they are saying that Proven is not a Jamaican company. Talk to us about that.
As I said, Proven is a regional business. So it has some business in Jamaica that it does. It has a securities dealer, wealth management company here. It also has done some real estate development here. But it does it owns a manufacturing business in Barbados. It has a banking interest in Cayman and St. Lucia. It is a business that's both in the financial and real sectors. The main real sector activity that it does is, as I said, manufacturing. And it manufactures animal feed and cooking oil and those things in Barbados. It also does real estate development, not just in Jamaica, elsewhere. And it does financial services. That's what it does.
Where's your head office?
The head office is in St. Lucia. It was established from day one as a St. Lucia-based operation.
And you do other business in St. Lucia?
Yeah, we have a bank in St. Lucia as well. Yeah.
And listeners and viewers, remember, Mark Jefferson Golden is coming into politics as a businessman. The fact that you're not a career politician, does that affect your ability to lead the People's National Party?
I think it gives me a perspective which is valuable. You know, I'm somebody who knows what it takes to be successful in business and how to run a successful business. And I've had a lot of experience in managing businesses through all type of crises, from the 90s when there was a financial sector meltdown through the 2008 global financial crisis and many things in between. So I'm not a career politician. I'm primarily a lawyer. That is my core competence. I'm a commercial and corporate lawyer. Mm-hmm. But I have a long standing exposure and understanding of finance because of the type of work I've done. And I think that's an asset. That will be an asset to Jamaica. I think it's an asset to the PNP, because it's part of what I have brought to the table is, you know, managing the party in the way we manage it now, mm-hmm. you know, which is, as you've seen, bearing fruit. So, you know, it is, to my mind, the country needs people who have experience and expertise to run it. Why do you think Mr. Holness draw for Nigel Clark? Because he knew that, you know, that was a big gap in his team that he needed to try and fill. And of course, that gap was opened again when Nigel decided to cut. But
so you're saying it has not been filled now?
Well, no, they have attempted to fill it now, and the person who's filled it, Favourable, you know, is competent in the field of finance. She's a very well qualified person in that era. But of course, as a politician and as Minister of Finance, it's less about technical skill, you know, mm-hmm. and more about communications and interpersonal skills. Mm-hmm. Now, the jury is out on whether she has that. I don't think she has that personally, having seen how she operates. Whereas I think Mr. Clark, Dr. Clark, was a skilled propagandist in his own right, you know, and brought that to the table in carrying the message for his party quite effectively.
Let's talk a little bit about finance, comrade leader, mm-hmm. and where Jamaica is right now in managing the finances of this country. I want to start at 2011,
okay,
where the PNP came back in office after the GLP had crashed the economy. This is a area, this is a period of time that has not been discussed. And some of us in the media are also saying that the PNP may be at fault by not bringing forward that period of time when the government speaks of what they have done with the economy. Because coming out of 2007 to 2011, we saw where the multilaterals had kicked us out of the market. The IMF would not talk to Jamaica. We couldn't get a loan. We are aware of the struggles that Dr. Peter Phillips and the Most Honorable Portia Simpson Miller went through. But a lot of people keep forgetting that you were an integral part of the team. Tell us about what happened and how we brought back the Jamaican economy.
Thank you for that. All right. So I think the context is very important. Bear in mind that during the period from 1989 to 2007, when the People's National Party was in government, first with Michael Manley for his second stint as Prime Minister, not his second term, because he had 2 terms in the 70s, but the second era as Prime Minister, and then P.J. Patterson after that, and then briefly Portia Simpson-Miller at the end. During that period, which the JLP have done their best to style in a particular way, the country really changed significantly. So the economy that we have now, which is what we call an open economy, where we do have foreign exchange controls. Anybody can save in US, keep them US. If they want to travel, them can go out, send money, go abroad, or receive it. Is the PNP do that? We used to have licensing for everything in this country. You know, if you want to import anything, you have to go to the trade board and apply for a license. Exporting, you need an export license. We deregulated much of that. So we created an environment where business could flourish, because it was at that time understood that the private sector and private initiative has to be the engine of growth. But there's a role for government, both as a regulator, to make sure that the bad business practices are dealt with by the state, and also what I call a catalytic role. In other words, stepping in where opportunities exist, but the private sector will not go there because it's too challenging for them to sort of create an environment, put in the necessary investment, maybe in infrastructure, for example, that will enable private capital to come in and build on that. So that 18 years was really created the type of economy that Jamaica has. And it was successful. If you check it out, by 2007, poverty was single digit in Jamaica. When Michael Manley took office in 1989, poverty was high. I don't remember the specific number, but it was over 20%. By the end of the 18 years, it was, I think, 9% and heading down.
2007,
The unemployment was single digit as well.
Yes.
The country had built up some decent reserves, etc. But it was 18 years, and 18 years is a long time for one party to rule. And the country said, look, we'll try the JLP now.
GDP was 113.8%.
Yeah, well, the debt to GDP ratio was in that region, correct. Now, JLP came in, there was a global financial crisis. Them couldn't manage that. They ran to the IMF. They signed an agreement with the IMF. The IMF was very generous with them and front-loaded, in other words, put a lot of resources in place up front, but on the basis of certain commitments that the government made to restructure certain things so that, you know, that the economy wouldn't get itself into this problem again that they found themselves in.
Right.
Them couldn't cross it. They abandoned the program. They didn't pass any tests. Jamaica was in the mud in terms of in the international financial community. The Bank of Jamaica had to be advancing money to the government, which it's not supposed to do, to pay bills. And they lost the election in 2011. And there was a whole Ludus business as well and all of that. So we inherited a situation where the debt of the country had gone up to 147% of GDP, where the IMF program had collapsed. Jamaica had no access to international credit. It was a crisis. We were on the precipice of going over into a very difficult time where, you know, God knows what would have happened if we hadn't pulled it together. And the beauty of it was Portia Simpson-Miller, as Prime Minister, was somebody who the people of Jamaica felt had their best interests at heart. Yes. And they were prepared to undergo a difficult period of rectification of those problems, fixing those problems with her leadership. Because them say, well, since Andrew Holness did say in 2011 election that it was bitter medicine was coming, I better them get it from Mama than from him. Right?
Yeah, because Mama give medicine easier than Papa.
You don't know. So Peter Phillips, who was a skillful finance minister, managed the situation well, and we were able to pass every test. My role at that time as Minister of Justice was I was in charge of the legislation of the government. I chaired the legislation committee of cabinet.
To restructure all these things that you just spoke to us about, moving out, getting the thing business friendly.
Exactly. And getting the tax system functioning right. So you had revenues to manage the debt problem.
So hold on,
Yeah.
opposition leader.
Yeah.
This the old tax system was fixed then.
Yeah.
And you was in charge of that.
Absolutely.
That's why the government now can collect so much revenue.
It has been a tremendous success. What happened? We restructured the tax system. We eliminated all the million of different types of incentives, created one, what we call omnibus tax incentive that any business can get. The employer tax credit, which means if you employ people and you pay your statutories, you get that as a credit against your income tax within certain limits. We also incentivized, we gave the deductions, tax deductions for investment in research and development, which hadn't been possible before. We introduced the production incentive where people can import production inputs that you can't buy here and you need to import without paying duty. So we created the tax environment that now exists. And we also dealt with the whole revenue collection side of things to streamline that. We introduced a new tax software in the tax system to make that more efficient. And let me tell you, the thing has worked tremendously well, because if you look at it without imposing any new tax types, the revenue of the country has grown way ahead of inflation over the period since then. In other words, if you look, and way ahead of economic growth as well.
But so why you don't tell people that you do these things and allow Nigel Clark to be claiming glory? You should be getting royalties. Why you don't tell people, say you do these things and allow people to take the credit like them do it?
Well, first of all, I don't really like big up myself them way there, you know. That's not me. But
this is
I
politics.
figure that we have journalists and others who, you know, can speak the truth and tell the story as it should be told. These are not matters that are not known. These are all in the public domain. But
yes,
I guess, you know, you are right that it's something that it's a story that we should tell more.
Of course.
And you know, yeah. So by the end of the 4 years that we were in government under Portia Simpson Miller, you know, we had to bear band with belly, so to speak, you know, by running what they call high primary surplus. In other words, we had to save money out of the budget a lot to pay down the debt and get the thing under control, because the thing was unsustainable and we were not creditworthy as a country. Right. So we had to build that back. And by the time we left office, it had gone from the 147 to 115% of GDP in 4 years.
Right.
Which was a remarkable thing.
Yeah.
And we put it in the law. So there are things called fiscal rules that which I was responsible for developing that legislation along with the technocrats in the Ministry of Finance.
What about EPOC?
EPOC was another construct. That was another thing that was developed at that time by Peter Phillips and others, you know, which was essentially saying, look, the society has to make sacrifice to make this thing work. We have to get ourselves out of the hole. So we have an agency, establish an agency or entity which will monitor how the government is doing in meeting the commitments, because you have agreed to make sacrifices, unions, banking sector, everybody.
Public sector workers.
So the government has to play its part. And its part was delivering all of the things that we had committed to do, much of which was legislation. So that was my role. My role was making sure every deadline for every piece of legislation that we'd agreed to do was met on time. And I had to work hard.
And that's what we call efficiency, because they went through.
Yeah, man, they went through. And we did some other things as well, like the super farm to make. So before then, if you're farming a business or a company, you form the company, you register the business, then you have to go to GCT, go register. You have to go to NIS, go get a number. You have to go to NHT to get a number. You have to go all over the place. It was very inefficient. We created a super farm where you apply, and when you get registered, or you get your certificate of incorporation on the back, you get all those numbers. So you don't have no run around thing. And a TCC for the first 6 months. So, you know, that Jamaica's ranking for ease of doing business and for competitiveness improved significantly in those 4 years. So we set the thing, but it was a hard time still because we couldn't spend the money that we would have loved to spend on social investments because the situation was so dire. The country was in such a bad position. That's how we inherited it in 2011. So when the 2016 election happened and then promised the 1.5 thing, which they said they could fund without new taxes, which was a lie, because I had to impose over 30 billion of new taxes on the other shot to pay for the 1.5. So that was a lie, but they won the election with a lie. You know?
But they still keep saying, opposition leader, that it happened. They keep saying that they delivered on the 1.5.
They delivered on the 1.5 by making the taxpayer pay for it.
But because I keep saying to people, what they are not telling you is that the 1.5 was promised revenue neutral.
Correct.
And they did not deliver on that part of it, so they're going to say them deliver the 1.5. But then it was not revenue neutral, as you said a while ago. $30 billion on the back of the Jamaican people.
Yeah, a whole raft of taxes were put in place over the first 2 years of their government. Indirect taxes mainly. So it's not in your pay slip if you're an employee, but you're paying it every time you buy anything in a supermarket or any other shop. So yeah, it had to be funded. The lie was they said it was already funded. They were going to, through elimination of waste and all kind of foolishness, which they had to fund it by putting taxes on other things to take away the taxes for the 1.5. That's what they did. That's water under the bridge. It was good politics for them.
For win the election.
Yeah. And, so be it. So they have been able to build on a platform that they didn't construct. We construct the building. They occupy the building. And then go on like it's them build it, but it's not them build it. And the truth.
What are they doing now to those gains? Because when they came in power, things looked so good that they said that they were going to grow the economy 5% in 4 years.
Yeah.
I remember, I think, a debate in 2020 with yourself and Nigel Clark. It was 2020 when he was asked what happened to 5 in 4, and him gave no, it wasn't 2020. That was 2016.
No, man, 2020.
2020, you debate with him.
Yes.
Right. And him give some pretty argument that never really mean nothing. We are at a stage now, opposition leader, where they are saying that the economy will grow maybe 0.8%, going down to even 0.2%. That for me poses a serious problem to Jamaica. You are looking forward to winning the next election. I want to talk about election yet. But you're looking forward to win it. The PNP is poised. Everything is lining up that we are going to win it. We want to talk to you now how you're going to manage this problem. Low growth, low wage, low tech, low income economy, low production. The PNP going to be in trouble again like we were in 2011. Talk to us. How you're going to work that out.
So the situation is different. So where we are now is that the public finances and the debt are no longer in a position of jeopardy then. Things have been sorted out at that level through the successful policies and the pursuit of those policies over a 10-year period. So the debt of 147% of GDP is now around 70% of GDP. It's been cut in half in 10 years, which is a remarkable achievement. Internationally, people say, wow, that's quite something. And Jamaica should feel good about that because that is something that we have done. Many other countries have not been able to do it, but we did.
I don't want you to lose your thought, comrade leader, but I must say something. You have said this on a platform, and I see labor rights plastering it everywhere. And I said to myself, wonderful. My leader is honest. My leader speaks the truth. If that is happening, it is happening.
Yeah.
And I think that shows the difference between you, who are able to say this is good, and those people who can't find nothing good on the other side.
Yeah, well, I suppose that's because, as you say, I didn't come to this politics early in my career, and politics is not all I know. You know, I was part of other things before I came, and I came here to serve Jamaica. You know, and where Jamaica has achieved something good, and both sides have contributed. I'm not going to say otherwise.
I want to applaud you for doing that, comrade leader, and I want to big you up and continue to be honest, truthful, and forthright. Big you up for that.
Enough respect.
And I must say, big up to Colin Bell. A very tremendous interview, a very good communicator, and a very good interviewer. Splendid job, Mr. Colin Bell. Chat up to me, people in the comment section. Me you wanna say. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel on the road to 30K and beyond. Help me to get there, my people. Notification shout out goes to Jermaine Davis. Big up yourself, Jermaine. Thanks for the continued support from each and every one. Get this video to at least 4,000 likes, my people. Spread out the one and make all of the who for ear, all who dey on the fence, all labor rights, all People's National Party supporters. Everybody for hear this, my people. Stay tuned for more videos. Stay tuned for more updates. Big up on yourself.